This is a Little Fiasco production.
Metroid Prime marked a pivotal point in the direction Nintendo wanted to take their software. Many controversies stemmed in early 2000 concerning the creative space that they were working with. This included the cel-shaded Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker that shocked many fans with its cel-shaded graphics. Metroid Prime did not shock fans because of its graphics. It was because Miyamoto gave the game to a Texas-based developer called Retro Studios. Nobody had heard anything from this studio before. It was going to be a first-person shooter, and the fact that it was a North American developer gave lots of fans to worry about. Be at ease. After 8 years of waiting from Super Metroid and skipping the N64 altogether, fans got exactly what they wanted and more on the November 2002 release. In fact, Metroid Prime was one of the best, if not the best game that came out of the GameCube and that generation altogether. To clarify, Metroid Prime is not a first-person shooter, rather it's a first-person adventure game. The story starts off when Samus finds activity in a space pirate ship, where experiments on creature mutations are taking place. After a few altercations with the locals, she ends up finding her nemesis Ridley in the mix, but the winged creature made an escape with Samus right behind him. She would end up in a planet called Talon 4 where danger lurked in many different areas. Exploration is the key in Metroid Prime with her scan visor to help. To be clear, her scan visor is one of the most important elements to her power suit. There's a great sense of isolation for the bounty hunter traversing through these areas, and the scan visor will literally tell you everything, both the story of the game and the tactics on beating an enemy. In addition to that, Samus never talks to anyone since the planet is void of human beings. Civilizations, which are no longer within the area, have left lures for Samus to decipher the history of the planet. Besides, get 100% completion by scanning everything and you'll get some pretty neat bonuses. As you can already see in the videos, the graphics and art style shown within the many different areas Samus explores is something to behold. From the hot and steamy Magmore caverns to the icy currents of the Phendrana drifts, you will be immersed within each world and wonderful soundtracks that follow it. Even your visor shows distortions such as steam or electricity that will hinder your vision depending on what area you are exploring. It's those little details that make this game so successful. Yet, one of the many concerns was the first-person shooting that was handled differently compared to the other games in the FPS genre. Samus is able to lock onto a target with the trigger and move around the enemy, much like the Z targeting for Zelda. Some may ask what the point of the lock-on mechanic was, considering you already have a control of her weapon at any angle. If you think this makes the game seem like a walk in the park, then you're in for a rude awakening. Sure, there is targeting mechanic implemented in the game, but it adds depth and action that cannot be done without it. As far as dealing with enemies, upgrades are plenty for the Interstellar Bounty Hunter, from thermal and scan visors. Wave and ice beams are put to use on the many dangerous enemies Samus encounters. And a satisfying morph ball has a couple of surprises for fans that think they've seen everything in 2D Metroid. There was so much going on for Metroid on the GameCube that nobody expected anything but. In her debut, Retro Studios were finally noticed and put Samus back on the map in a big way. The backtracking can get a little exhausting at first, but even then, that's been a Metroid staple that creates curiosity. Metroid Prime does so many things well in every aspect of the game. The graphics, the controls, and the mechanics are solid. Not only was it hailed one of the best Metroid games ever, it is regarded as one of the best games ever made. And for that, I give Metroid Prime an A+.